Welcome back, everyone, to the Intel Extreme Masters Season 10. Of course, in Shenzhen, China, we just saw our first matches of Group C. Of course, on the main stage, we do have Jim moving on now to face herO, who won in the offstage match, and now they'll be in the winners match. And of course, we know. Oh, well, first of all, we are joined by Pig. I almost forgot.
Sorry,
Pig.
Sorry.
Yeah. Welcome to the test, Pig.
Thank you.
Day 3.
Get some manners, man.
Yeah,
what did they teach
sorry,
you?
it's because of your shirt color. You kind of fade into the background.
That's all right. It's my camouflage, you know.
Okay, yeah. Why are we all? I mean, this was not the plan.
Yeah, we need to start coordinating. We need a breakfast meeting.
Float backwards into the background.
We're like, all right, well, yeah, thank you so much for joining us, Pig. Of course, we had some fun in that first match. But going into the winners match, we have not only a crowd favorite, but Keleres' favorite herO going in. I mean, herO is a multi-IEM champion.
Yeah, three times.
He's a very likable guy. But Keleres, I mean, how excited are you to watch this match? I mean, does he have a solid chance against Jim as he normally would?
What have you got to say, Keleres? Come on, you're usually a big speaker. Come on, don't be afraid.
He's ragging his brain. Oh.
Well, you know, herO's my favorite player. He's won 3 championships, and he is the #1 player where worlds will collide at this tournament. And if he doesn't win this, I'm going to shave my hair.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, do we want to see Keleres shave his hair? Because, I mean, it doesn't look like he has much left, actually. He's been a little stressed
Well,
recently.
he's only got 2 strips left. I guess they got to go if herO loses this.
Well, all right. Well, so hopefully herO
one day Keleres used to have gold locks like a lion, and now there's just 2 black strips left.
It's been a rough year. It's been a rough year for Keleres.
He looks really happy here, though.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a smirk. His eyes are still
we love
drooping
you,
a little
buddy.
bit.
We
Yeah,
love
it's
you,
all right.
buddy.
No, it's all right. Cheer up, Keleres. We're all here to have fun. Of course, in the Intel Extreme Masters, it's all about having fun across the weekend. But talking more, I mean, herO, we don't need to talk too much about herO, of course, but Jim now going on to the winner's bracket. Not that we counted Jim out, but Pig, before on the desk, we were saying that we thought U-Thermal actually had a solid chance to move on as second place in the group. What are your thoughts after casting that first game?
It was a really weird series, to say the least. Like, you know, U-Thermal came into that super confident. Unfortunately, didn't get to speak to Jim too much. I don't have very good Chinese just yet, but he's always been a good, strong player. His PvP has been pretty good in the past, but recently, we haven't seen too many games from him on the international stage. Some of the other Chinese players have actually been taking precedence. Players like IA and Tude Ming have been making it into WCS over him.
Now, I do want to remind you, though, that we do have, you know, Snoot, who went through winning 2 matches in a row, but already we have the Terran losing to Protoss, so Zerg's still at the top of the food chain. Just keep that in mind. So I don't know if we can, you know, I'm looking forward to the analysis in the quarterfinals, right? I mean, the Zerg, maybe we'll have a ZVZ in the finals, Pig. How excited would that be?
That would be very sad, you know. Then next time I'm sending an email to David Kim, I've got nothing to say except I guess I have nothing to complain about. Damn these outliers destroying my statistics.
Is that the only contact you have with David Kim is when you complain?
Pretty much. This welcome to the life of a Zerg player. We're pretty much only good for 2 things: salty Zerg tears and Broodlord Infestor.
We usually have casual conversations. I just ask about how he's doing, what he's up to.
I mean,
what are you doing this weekend, DK?
Guy, this guy, all he does is call him up, make his day a little bit worse.
I know. Imagine being David Kim. You know everybody in the scene, and all these pro players have access to, you know, sending you a message, and he thinks he's got a lot of friends, but the only messages they ever send him are complaints.
Yeah, that
you know,
kind of stinks.
What about David Kim?
I'm sure herO probably doesn't send him too many complaints, though, because herO, of course, I mean, he's had quite a few good runs. As we keep mentioning, I mean, it is a noteworthy achievement. 3-time Intel Extreme Master champion, coming in again, vying for that first place in Group C.
Loving his style, top button done up, loving it. It's a bit too hot for me here to do that, but he's got AC in there.
Yeah, he's got his own little booth. It's probably nice and chill in there. And not the same with us here at the desk.
This guy is probably, I mean, are there more lovable StarCraft players out there?
I would say if we had to rank...
Artosis is close, I guess, but nowhere near this guy.
Do we really deem Artosis still a StarCraft player, though?
That's okay, if we're going to go there, then yeah, I agree.
You know, I don't know about that one. But Jim on the other end, we just gave him his little chant. I mean, he
I
was
hope that
smiling.
powers him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was pretty excited to hear that. I mean, he was saying, you know, I want to beat herO. You know, he brought out his English there. He was like, I know what you're talking about. herO, I know who that is.
Yeah.
He's got that bullseye on his back.
He can beat herO. Like, it's not impossible. As much as everyone thinks herO should be in first place, it's not impossible. He said he's playing top 50 Grandmaster right now in Korea, which means he's going to be running into players like herO when he is laddering. And he probably has beaten herO on the ladder in training. So there's no question that he can beat him in pick.
Jim's a player you can't count out. I mean, stylistically, even if he's not every game going to take on a player like herO, he's wild enough, he's crazy enough, he takes these chances. He goes into it, sometimes we define that as the Chinese style, right? You go out there and you're just like upgrading drops to Zerg. If you're a Protoss player, you're just taking these massive risks, you know, maybe just diving straight into some DT tech, trying to snipe off the observer, like doing really crazy plays is something you won't count out from Jim. So even against someone like herO, who's this very, very solid, strong Protoss player, I think Jim's got a fighting chance.
I really wonder if herO's going to play it like a steamroll game, if he's going to come into this and just wipe the floor with Jim, or he's going to play more of a protective style and try to figure out how Jim's playing, play more reactionary, because that's the interesting side for how herO's going to approach, I think.
Yeah, that is a good question. I mean, we do have to keep in mind, again, if you win here, like, you're done for the day. You just have to wait until tomorrow. So maybe he'll go for the steamrolling, just want to get it through, be done with the group stages, wait for the quarterfinals. We're about to find out in the winner's match. It is CJ and Zero going up against IG's Jim. And to bring us a game, it will be Rotterdam and Artosis.
Thank you, guys. An exciting match coming up, Roddy McTosis. What do you think about this one?
Roddy McTosis, I can't wait. It's PvP with my favorite co-caster in the world when it comes to PvP, Mr. McTosis himself.
That's
We're
right,
gonna make this
Todd. Get out.
McTosai casting over here.
The McTosai.
Let's just go ahead and hop into Terraform, as that is going to be the playground of our very first map of this best of 3.
Alrighty, we have up here in the top left from CJ Entis in South Korea. It is herO. Epic nerd right there.
Letod is my favorite Heroes of the Storm caster in the world. Everybody knows that.
Have you heard my Heroes of the Stormcast?
Yeah, terrible.
Oh, you are so mean.
I love you in StarCraft. That means so much more, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
No, I've never watched you cast Heroes. I'm sorry, mate.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll change your mind over from Todd. Should we introduce this guy?
Let's do it.
Okay, this guy in the bottom right from China is Jim. I thought you were going to do it. I'm like, oh no, this is taking way too long. This is awkward and weird. All right.
I could just see you think about Heroes of the Storm right now. You're just like, man, I can't believe Roddy has never watched me cast Heroes of the Storm.
Well, I've only cast it a few times, so.
I actually, I don't think I've ever watched the Heroes of the Storm broadcast.
Oh.
So it's not personal then.
I'll link you next time I'm casting it.
I can't promise I'll tune in, but I do watch you every night, late at night, when I'm in America, and you're casting the GSL with good old Nick Plutt. Nick Plutt.
Yeah, that was the best ever. Oh man, we gotta do that again later, the Nick Plot dance. It's even better than that Jim song that Apollo made up.
Alrighty, PvP is of course a matchup that I love, and sometimes I feel like I'm getting carried away a little bit too much, because I get really excited over this matchup, and then if you don't play Protoss, people are like, why is this guy getting so excited? Nothing is happening. So I'm gonna try to find a nice balance in making PvP sound fun and exciting, which it really is. And of course, you know, not take it too serious either.
Strategically, it's like super unbelievably deep. And I want to point out one reason right here, right now. herO thinks he's probably a better player overall in the late game. Look at the build order he's open with. He went for his second gas after the Cybernetics core, and even a small change like that, it gives him the extra minerals, get a Zealot going. Wouldn't be surprised if we see double gateway, but if he finishes a Zealot, not necessarily.
Yeah, this is actually such a super safe opening over here from herO. Unless herO actually thought he's playing against a Terran. He's like, just in case this guy eBay blocks me, so, oh my god, this Jim guy's Protoss. Like, no. So this is very unusual to see someone start off with a Zealot and cancel it. I think it 100% means what you just said, where herO just looks at this series, well, as long as nothing too crazy happens, if these games play out in a very standard, straight-up way, I'm the better player, I will be able to make the difference.
That's right, but you have to be careful, because safety builds, like generally the safest build, right, is like Blink into Robo.
Yep.
But if you go Blink into Robo and your opponent just takes this edge of saying, like, I don't know if you're going DTs, but I'm going to pretend you're going Blink into Robo, then they just go Blink, and then they kill you. So you have to be really, really careful if you're the better player, because a player just slightly below you can take that risk and just kill you because of it.
Yep, and even I think what Jim is doing right now, he's opening up with a Stargate. As long as he follows this up with a quick Twilight console himself, I kind of like this as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's a robo as follow-up. Not necessarily bad, but what I do not like about this army composition from Jim is that it doesn't give him any mobility.
Well, do you think he'll go Phoenix with this? Because if you're going to get a robo that fast, look, he is going Phoenix.
Okay. I mean, I am a big...
He's going Phoenix, but I'm an Oracle.
Oh... Well, I'm a big Phoenix player myself, so it's actually cool to see Jim do this. Phoenix against Blink Stalkers is not bad. Actually, I spoke with Liu Bao about this the other day, and Liu Bao is like, no, Phoenix is trash. 3-gate Blink Stalker and you're dead. I was like, no. If you get your robo in time, you're fine. He's like, no, you're dead. You want to try? I was like, yeah, I would love to try. I was like, man, free training with Liu Bao. So we'll see how Jim plays this one out. It's very important that he spots that this Nexus is going down, and that should actually give Jim the freedom to get his own Nexus.
Yeah, and you know, I have to agree with you on the whole Phoenix thing. Like, if you do get that robo in plenty of time, I think you're completely fine against Blink Stalker, and in fact, it can be quite annoying to play against him. Now, you don't want to make more than like 3 normally, unless you have some really wonky play going on, but
Okay, I have a very weird idea right now that Jim is going to make an Observer. He's going to use his Phoenixes to snipe the Observer of herO, and then he's going to make Dark Templars.
I would love to see that.
If that happens, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in PvP in my life.
Well, yeah, it definitely could be that. We do see that Jim already sniped that Mothership core. Now, herO is putting a lot of pressure on his opponent's Nexus here, but...
I don't like this, by the way. Like, I know that herO thinks that this is safe, but if Jim would have played normal, he has 2 Immortals and a Zealot here. He just walks down this ramp, he lifts up the Stalkers.
And he kills so much from that. You're completely right about that. And a little bit greedy on the placement of that Mothership core. Absolutely didn't have to lose that there, so a small mistake from Jim, but... you know what? The robo is just now starting for herO, so this Dark Templar tech could... I mean, well, Jim canceled his robo earlier, so like it's not like he can...
this game is just very weird. Like, actually, this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me right now. Oh yeah, he canceled his robo.
Yeah.
I mean, he can lift up one of these Stalkers over here with Photon Overcharge still helping out. They should have enough DPS. herO is probably wondering, like, hey, I'm pretty damn sure I scouted the robotics facility earlier in this game, which he did with a Stalker. So now he might be getting a little bit worried. Jim is going to warp in a couple of Dark Templars. The closest pylon is, you know, one more southbound. There we go. But I don't think... I mean, he should just suicide him on the robotics facility right now, or on the pilot.
No, yeah, I don't think that he can actually kill it quick enough. Like, I think you just go for probes and sentries with these.
He's sending them home.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. But, yeah, he's not going to get too much done probably with these DTs. No. But even the fear of DT can be pretty powerful. You know...
herO knows, though. Like, why is herO leaving with the Stalkers? He saw them. This is really smart, putting them in a hold position. He's going to have one Observer pop over here. Both Dark Templars is going to die immediately. No probes will go down. Man, this is such a weird PvP, though.
Yeah, like, the thing is, Jim is doing, like...
everything.
Levels of mind games. Yeah. Like, by showing the robo, he's like, okay, you absolutely will not get a robo against this because you see Phoenix plus robo. So he goes into Dark Templars, but herO is playing ridiculously safe, knowing that Jim is kind of like a cheesy, mind-gamey type of Protoss. So herO definitely wins out as far as mind games here.
But sometimes I also feel that people overthink stuff. Like, I think what Jim was doing over here was just getting a little bit too complicated. Because for how long are you going to play PvP without a robo? Like, I don't think that herO really relies on, you know, winning a PvP without a robotics facility.
No,
it's part of, like, almost every single build. Even when the game transitions on, he wants to get an Observer to blink into the main base and stuff. So I kind of think that Jim made things a little bit overly complicated over here. Phoenixes definitely didn't pay for themselves, as multiple Phoenixes had like 200 energy and just didn't kill anything, and this game is kind of over.
I think I have to back up what you said there. Like, I don't think you try to kill herO with DTs unless you're a top 5 Protoss in the world, in his opinion. Like, unless you're a Parting, a Zest, a Rain, that type, I don't think you bother, because those are the only people he's going to skip robo against, you know? So maybe Jim going a little bit too far probably works pretty well on the ladder, but here in a tournament against herO, he's in a lot of trouble right now as herO goes into his natural.
Yep, I mean, Jim just doesn't really have a whole lot. He doesn't really have any micro potential anymore. He doesn't have secured kills anymore on Stalks either. At least before he had 4 Phoenixes, which he can get a couple of guaranteed kills with. Those point shoots are nice. Somehow keeps his Immortal alive, so that's something that Jim can work with a little bit, but he knows he's just so far behind.
Yeah.
He's going to tap out.
There was nothing there for him, unfortunately, but tricky mind games. I think he needs to skip out on DT builds unless it's like a safe, like DT Robo Expand, that type of thing.
Yeah, exactly, on Cactus Valley or something like that.
Yeah, like that's just a solid macro build, to be honest. So, but overall, you gotta take different edges against here, like more units, not techier units, I think.
PvP is a matchup with a lot of tricks, but sometimes people get caught up in their own tricks, and I guess it's kind of what happened over here to Jim in game number 1. We'll see how game number 2 plays out after this very short commercial break.
Welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen. This is Season X. It has been a long time coming. We are the X-casters.
I liked it when you guys were doing that. I was giggling.
But yeah, this is the winners match of this group. Whoever wins here in this match, we are going to see go into the bracket stage. So will it be Jim, the best Chinese player? He did lose that first game against CJ herO, who has won like 40 IEMs or something. So
you said that though, and I definitely agree with you in the past, but I feel over the last 6 months, I know he had that great run last year at IEM Shenzhen, but I felt other than that, players like Tutming and Shigawa and even Max Set have been outperforming Jim in a couple of these tournaments.
Sure, I think that that's fair, and like, I think that rotation is always happening. If you really look, it's like, oh, okay, for the last 2 weeks, like Bunny's been doing better than Snoot or something like that, right? But you know, Jim overall has definitely won more than those guys, right? So, I mean, maybe he's not the absolute best Chinese player right now, but from what we've seen so far, pretty strong overall, taking out U-Thermal.
No, absolutely. Great start to the group. But hey, you already said it. Maybe U-Thermal should have just lost the first series and he can just like worry less about that potential rematch. Of course, U-Thermal is going to go up against Cyan. I believe that series is being played while we are broadcasting this one. Is that
yes,
correct?
It is. Yeah, we aren't doing that loser match. So if he does win, we'll get to see him against the loser of this. But right now, herO is on match point, guys. We're going to go into map number 2, which is Coda.
I'm thinking about the continents that herO has won his Intel Extreme Masters in. He's won in South America. He's won in North America. And where's the other one that herO won? Singapore.
Oh, Singapore. Yeah. Okay. So that would be Asia.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
this would be number 2 in Asia. All right, guys. Up here in the top left from CJ Entis, it is herO. Going for his 72nd IEM victory.
And over here in the right bottom side of Coda, the man that's representing Invictus Gaming, the hometown hero, it is Jim. You know, let's talk about this 72nd IEM victory. He's also going for like his 14,000 WCS point of the year or something. It's like, herO, can you leave some WCS points for the rest of the industry, please, man?
Yeah, he's pretty sure we'll see him at BlizzCon this year.
He can actually take a holiday right now and he can just show up in November and he will still be going to BlizzCon. Yeah, he pretty much, not yet, but I think if he has a reasonable finish here, he already has more points than the #1 finisher of last year, which was Bomber. I think Bomber finished the year on like 6,200. And I think right now herO is already over 5,000.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Oh my God. Well, they redid the point system this year as well,
That's
so
true.
it's a little bit different than last year. But it's good. It's good, right? Because we have to have him at BlizzCon or it doesn't make sense because herO, you have to consider like a top 2 Protoss at all times.
And he was there last year as well, and he had that very unfortunate PvP series against Classic where he just got cheesed multiple times in a row. And, you know, that was just not a series that is very fun to think back of. So herO wants to redeem himself.
That was the round of 8, right?
Yes,
okay,
quarterfinals at BlizzCon.
I remember MC in the round of 16 pushed him to the limit in PvP as well.
Yeah, no, that was a great,
super exciting
that was
match.
a great series, man. I enjoyed it. That was one. I mean, I felt last year WCS round of 16, the one we had in the Burbank studio.
It was better than what was at BlizzCon.
It was so good. That was one of my all-time favorite days of StarCraft
was one of the best matches. I couldn't believe how good
I mean,
that
we
was.
had 8 best of 5s there, correct? Or was it?
Yeah, we had the whole round.
Yeah,
whole
so we
round
had
16.
8 best of 5. I felt 6 out of 8 best of 5s were must-watch.
Yeah.
Like, they were just so good, ridiculously good. Polt played one hell of a match as well.
Yeah.
God, it was just an amazing day. It was absolutely one of my favorite days all time on StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
So much good
It was an
StarCraft.
insanely fun day. But here we are now. This is, of course, Group C in the inaugural stop of IEM Season X in Shenzhen.
What are you going to do with this little guy on the right top side of the map, Jim? Could just be a pylon to have a little bit of map presence, but it could also be a pylon for a Stargate. And this time, I'm going to be the Oracle and say that it will be an Oracle.
All right. Not a bad place. It's like somewhere that won't get scouted, most likely. It's really out of the way, so like even if it's an Oracle, it's not like that much closer than anywhere else. And looks like it is, in fact, that Stargate, which will be an Oracle.
That's why I'm sitting next to you, Artie McCulsis.
Now, I would like to see, as you were saying before, going into a Twilight after this.
Yeah,
I actually feel like Oracle into Blink, it can be actually a very strong counter to Blink.
I think it's slightly better. I think most Protoss players agree that it's slightly better than it's going straight up Blink, because you always have to worry about it Oracle. Of course, if the Oracle player messes up, then it's, you know, then the ball is in the corner of the other guy.
It's harder to do than just straight Blink, for sure. But like it has so many good pieces about it. So if he does go for a build like that, I feel like that gives him the build order advantage here.
He's getting 2 more gateways before a potential Twilight. I kind of like to see a quicker Twilight, but maybe he just wants to play it very safe.
It could as well be it looks like he's put at least 2 Chronos, I think, into his warp gate, right? So he might be going for a little attack with a little bit of pressure if he sees something like an expand. But
we see the Twilight going down. I think it makes a lot more sense. He could have dropped it a little bit quicker, but his Blink... Yeah, actually his Blink is going to be quite a bit later. Like some of these guys, they go Oracle into Blink, and their Blink is only like 20 or 30 seconds later than the other guy's Blink. But now Jim's Blink is going to be quite late, so he does have to worry about that. This was a great little scout by herO, as Flo showed us as well, our fantastic, dedicated observer for this event. Yeah, herO saw it from his point of view as well, so he's going to be more than ready for this Oracle. But now if you're Jim, don't sweat it. That Oracle will come into play later this game.
You're totally fine. Like you know, it's hard for a herO to actually leave his base and do anything about this. And then look at that, he's going to let that Robo finish up. Now, this could be one of those situations where we see Jim just go pure Blink Stalkers after this. You know, he's already got his Nexus up. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're going to see pure Blink Stalkers. And if herO puts too much money into other tech, he could just die from an attack from Jim.
What I'm a little bit worried about for Jim is that he's going to stand too far out. Like guys like herO, they're so good. If they have Blink for 40 or 50 seconds and you're not, he's going to get some really cost-efficient trades over here. Like, believe it or not, I actually played some games against Rain, and even when Rain only has Blink 20 seconds quicker than me, I lose 3 Stalkers. I'm just like, this is so stupid. Like, how do you know this, and why is this going so extremely well for you? And you know, there you go. herO just gets the can. So I do think it's smart from Jim not to walk down that ramp, because he would have ended up losing a lot of Stalkers. But this goes back to the beginning, where I think if Jim would have gone Stargate into Twilight, his Blink would have already been ready, and that's
he would have saved that Nexus for sure, because you have to keep a couple Stalkers at home against that Oracle. You can't like just leave a Mothership Core, because it forces a Nexus cannon, and bam, it's right back in there. So
and
Jim will have a fine Stalker.
Oh, he's gonna Blink forward actually. No, he doesn't Blink yet. Jim has added 1 more gateway, so now he's up to 4 gateways. So he's pretty much just gonna go 1 base all in over here. Hard to say if it's going to work or not. Does he still have his Oracle? He does, right? Like, I know he's been busy with it. He didn't get a lot done. He just got a single kill. I mean, 1 is better than none.
I think he needs to keep poking with it and just find any damage he can get. But this is still a winnable game for Jim right now.
I think the most important thing about this Oracle is just that you want to keep units A into the main base, or B, maybe even force a Photon Overcharge into the main base, so that those Blink Stalkers can blink into the natural and then maybe get a favorable fight there. So this Oracle is extremely important right now for Jim. If he loses the Oracle, he pretty much loses the most important asset of his attack over here.
Now, he is actually up 6 Blink Stalkers right now. Yeah, there's an Immortal out, but you know what? Those 6 Blink Stalkers are worth way more than an Immortal. That was the worst. Oh my god, that had to be a mistake. That had to be a mistake. I think he assumed something might be on the ramp or something.
Hey man, he does have a very good vision of these destructible blades right now. Like, he will always see these destructible blades.
Well, right now it comes down to these Blinks, and herO just doesn't have that many Stalkers. Jim continuing to push forward. He's going to be able to take down this Nexus with relative ease. Of course, he doesn't have a Nexus at home, so this doesn't completely end the game. But herO comes up with the Immortal, loses that as well. And right now we just have more Blink Stalkers for Jim.
Yeah, but this is a very good position over here, I think, for herO. I think right now Jim, well, that Oracle is going to soak up a lot of shots, but that was a very beautiful concave or arc. Now I think both players just need to take a breather over here and be like, all right, so who's winning this game? And then, well, neither player is very sure. But going into the main base, I'm not saying that Jim can't win over here, but it's getting a little bit risky, you know? It's very hard to funnel up this little ramp while hero is standing there, and hero is going to micro his blink stocks like a god.
Well, blinking in means that all the defensive blinks go to hero here, but there is a Zealot. There was an Oracle, which is now gone, but we do have 2 more stalkers now, just 1 more. For Jim.
Yeah, it just soaked up a lot of shots, and that's the most important thing for Jim. Jim knew that Oracle wasn't going to contribute a whole lot to the fight. Ooh, hero has to be so careful.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating for Jim that he lost his probe, because he would have loved to get a pilot in the main base, and he would have just won. But now I do kind of feel that maybe the number advantage is just too high in Jim's favor.
It does look that way. Being up 4 stalkers, that's pretty much just a victory. He doesn't have a Mothership core. He doesn't have anything else that can help him here. So as long as Jim just blinks reasonably, he's got it.
Yep, and now he actually has a better position. It feels like more stalkers from Jim are fighting than more stalkers of than the stalkers of hero. Hero's going to be forced to pull the probes one more time, but he's down all the way to 18 workers. So even if this game would go on from here, man, hero is doing this ridiculously well.
That micro is insanity. But, you know, his warp-ins were right there, and Jim's were quite far away, so...
Jim has to be very careful. Now, I think he could lose that fight. If he ends up losing those 3 stalkers... oh, my God, this is just ridiculous. Man,
he just wanted to pick off the really red ones there.
What a hold for hero. He's down 5 workers, but I actually think on one base, that is not really the end of the world.
No, he's... Wow. I mean, these guys are actually okay against each other. The 3 more stalkers versus 5 more probes is like...
I think an Oracle is very good right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is the phase in the game where an Oracle makes no sense, and that's why it's so good. Like, if you're playing against someone who make an Oracle right now, you get so extremely mad, because you're just like, oh my god, that's so dumb. Why would you ever make an Oracle? But
an Oracle right now is worth, like, about 3 stalkers, to be honest, and that's about, like, what it costs in gas. So I think that's fantastic. I think he absolutely should get an Oracle. But he's got to make sure he's got enough ground units as well to just hold on. If he can sneak that Oracle in, then hero can't use all of his stalkers against all of Jim's stalkers.
Right now the stalker count is 8 against 7. Hero doesn't have an observer on the map. Observers don't... Oh, he shot at his own stalker. Be careful there, buddy. Friendly fire in this phase in the game.
A little bit over-eager.
His observer is actually pretty useful.
Yeah, the observer actually coming in quite helpful here.
How much money is left in the main base? Actually quite a bit. 600 and 300 on most mineral patches.
Yeah, we're not in Legacy yet.
No.
This game would have been a draw.
3 stalkers, that's a very odd number, because normally you need 4 stalkers to one-shot probes. So 3 stalkers is a little bit inefficient. And also, fighting with 3 stalkers less on your side of the map. Hero, this is a very ballsy decision. Like, yeah, you're doing economic damage, but there is a chance that maybe Hero is just going to win the game over here. Jim is going to suicide blink on this ramp. Yep, there you go.
You know, it's interesting. He warped in 2 Zealots at home, which meant 2 less stalkers with him up here. If he had made those 2 stalkers up here, he 100% kills all these stalkers and wins the game. But
that's what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah, he got a little bit panicked by those stalkers in his main base. He thought he'd lose his probes too quick. I think the offensive stalkers might have been more valuable, though.
Oh my god. Now Hero is suddenly in such a phenomenal position. It's 15 against 10.
Yeah.
CJ enters Hero, showing us here why he has won 3 IEMs, because he wins a game that was borderline impossible to win. Gladness Blinks going down on either side right now, but Hero just has more. Wow, what a sick victory, man. Hero is a sick puppy.
Hero, you said it very well, showing why he's won so many IEMs in the past. That was ridiculous. He absolutely shouldn't have won that. Jim had a victory there and just made like 2 small mistakes, and here's like, you made 2 small mistakes, you're dead.
Unbelievable that he was still able to hang in there in the main base. He pulled so many workers, normally when you pull that many workers. And of course, Jim made a couple of mistakes, but I really feel in a hectic game like this, all of these mistakes are forced, because Hero is making it so extremely difficult for Jim to make the right choices. There are 2 types of mistakes in StarCraft. You know, there are the forced and unforced errors, and I felt most of the mistakes, other than that Zealot warp in, they were just forced mistakes by Hero, and Hero just made it very difficult for Jim to close out this game.
Well, Jim, you know, he didn't realize that you have to peel the onion whether you are Protoss, Zerg, or Terran. Like, if he had pulled back during that first blink attack that we were saying was going to win, 2 his reinforcements come back and he wins. You know, but not giving it its due time to kill him off, unfortunately.
Well, it was a great series. We see that CJ enters Hero is making his way over to the analysis desk, where the boys are very eager to ask a couple of cheeky questions. I just look at Apollo and I see how cheeky he is. He's so ready for this interview. So boys, just take it away.
Thank you, Roddy. Yeah, Sean can't wait to have a chat with herO.
herO's my favorite.
Why is herO your favorite?
Look
Tell
at
us.
him.
The killer smile.
Look at him. You just want to go over there and grab his cheek?
Yeah, all right. Well,
He's like, what did he say?
김준호 선수 축하드리고요.
네.
아폴로가 정말 그 살인 미소가 너무 인상적이라고 그래서 너무 좋다고 그러는데 어떻게 생각했어요? 본인의 살인 미소가 정말 그렇게 대단하다고 생각하세요?
He's like, yeah, it's really weird, Sean.
잘 모르겠어요.
He's like, yeah, I don't know if I have a killer smile, but if Sean says so. Sean, does he have a killer
It's
smile?
not a killer smile.
Well, actually, that's the exact translation in Korean. It's a killer smile.
Oh, like a really good smile?
Yeah, like a really charming smile. All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about maybe some things he does know more about rather than the smiles. Obviously, 3-time IEM champion, now trying for a 4th and going first in the group. I mean, I'm really curious. Do you feel just as confident? Is IEM somewhere where you know that you can just come in super strong? 그럼 지금까지 이제 그 인텔 그 IEM에서 3번이나 우승을 하셨는데 IEM 때만 되면 뭔가 뭐 특별히 더 기분이 좋다든지 아니면 IEM은 이제 3번이나 우승을 했으니까 정말 마음 편히 게임할 수 있겠다 그런 그 마인드가 혹시 있나요?
일단 IEM 해외 대회는 제가 IEM 위주로 많이 왔기 때문에 경기장 자체도 되게 친숙하고 아폴로도 있고 뭐 친숙한 해설분들도 많아가지고 되게 뭔가 기분이 편한 것 같아요.
Yeah, well, you know, most of my foreign tournament experience does come from the Intel Extreme Masters, so the stage setup feels very familiar. We have some friendly faces like Sean Apollo Clark, and of course the other commentators. You know, I just feel a lot closer with them. I feel a lot more comfortable, a little bit at home actually whenever I come to the Intel Extreme Master event. So I think I can just play a little bit more of my own game rather than worrying about outside factors.
We have to jump right on this before you talk some strategy. How much does he miss Carmack?
Yeah,
Come on.
그러면 그 IEM 카맥 아시죠?
네.
카맥 얼만큼 보고 싶으세요? 이번에 못 왔거든요.
네. 카맥 오늘 이번에 왔나 물어봤는데 안 왔다고 하더라고요. 그래서 약간 섭섭했어요.
지금 근데 집에서 보고 있어요. 지금 미국
진짜요?
새벽인데 꼭 김준호 선수 게임은 보고 가야겠다고. 그런데 혹시 한마디 하시겠어요? 이렇게 영상 메시지나 그렇게 보내시겠어요?
I don't miss him at all.
카맥 보고 싶었는데 이번에 못 봐서 아쉽고 다음에 꼭 왔으면 좋겠어요.
Yeah, he said, well, you know, I actually asked as soon as I got here. I was like, is Carmack here? I want to say hi. And everyone's like, no, he didn't make it out this time. So Carmack, he just sent a little letter to you in Korean. I'll deliver it for you, don't worry. He says, I miss you a lot. I'm actually pretty sad you weren't able to come. But next time I'm here at the Intel Extreme Masters, you better be here. So there you go, Carmack. Can't miss out on another one. Can't do it. All right, well, Pig, break down the Protoss.
Let's talk about those games. All right, that first game was insane. Going into it, did you know Jim had a crazy style? And how did you know the DTs were coming? Were you just kind of like, I'm ready for crazy builds? What were you expecting?
그러면 이번 시리즈에서 이제 첫 경기에서 그 짐 선수가 조금 보통 이제 볼 수 없는 스타일을 좀 보여줬고 뭐 그 전체적으로도 중국 선수들이 조금 보통 메타에 따르지 않고 본인만의 스타일이 있는데 이번에 그 DT 가지고 이제 그 뭐냐 암흑기사 가지고 오는 거를 혹시 예측을 하셨어요? 아니면 그냥 뭔가 감으로?
일단 빌드 자체가 생소한 빌드이기 때문에 예측은 하지 못했는데 뭔가 느낌이 싸해가지고 딱 상대 본질을 봤을 때 로보틱스도 취소되고 해가지고 이제 그때부터 싸한 느낌이 들어서 추적자 홀드 시켜놓고 옵저버만 뽑으면 이길 수 있겠다 그런 생각하고 있었어.
He says, yeah, you know, it was a very new build, and it's not something I'm used to. So I definitely didn't have any predictions or anything like that. I can't say I was going through my expertise, but when I was looking at his base, it was just like his robo was canceled. I mean, something was weird, and I was just like, all right, there's definitely something fishy going on. I have to make sure I play a little bit calmer, take a step back. I held my stock, and I said, all right, if anything's gonna go super weird, it has to be DTs, right? That's the only thing I'm not prepared for right now. So bring out an observer, and then I should be all right. And that's how I won that first game.
It's beautiful defense. Of course, one more question about game 2.
No, that was a...
We all thought you were dead. We thought it's like 5 Stalkers down and the most heroic magic micro with Blink Stalkers in the base. How do you get so good with Blink Stalker micro, and how do you hold in such a hard position?
그럼 두 번째 경기에서는 저희가 다 볼 때도 아 이게 오히려 김준호 선수가 좀 어려운 상황인 것 같다 그런 예감이 들고 이제 그 짐 선수가 본진으로 들어와가지고 아예 그 본인 추적자로
네.
계속 공격을 했는데 아 정말 IEM 3번 우승한 선수답게 컨트롤도 너무 좋게 보여주고 했는데 지금 여기 피그는 이제 저그 유저잖아요. 그래서 아 어떻게 그 추적자로 그 전멸 그렇게 잘 쓸 수 있는지 아니면 어떤 연습을 했는지 그리고 컨트롤로 내가 이길 수 있겠다 그런 자신감이 있었는지 궁금한데요.
일단 컨트롤 자체는 누구한테도 안 준다는 생각이 있었고 그리고 이번에는 컨트롤을 되게 못한 거예요. 네.
진짜요?
사실 되게 못해서 민망해하고 있었는데
아.
다음에는 이제 손도 잘 풀리고 있으니까 다음 경기에서는 더 아트한 컨트롤 보여드리고
알겠습니다. 기대해 보겠습니다. Well, generally I go in knowing that I can out micro any one of my opponents. That's my confidence. But that was actually really bad micro in game 2. I was actually a little bit ashamed of myself. So I'm I don't know what to say. That I was actually really disappointed. I wasn't feeling too good after I thought I barely won. But in the quarterfinals, you guys can look forward to some very artistic, meticulous micro.
I mean, is there any specific training that he does for that? Is it just
Right.
ladder,
yeah.
game, or is there any type of training that kind of helps with that? Because as he said, he's so confident and so good at it. Why?
그럼 컨트롤에 그렇게 자신감이 있을 수 있는 이유는 뭐 특별히 따로 컨트롤만을 연습을 하세요? 아니면 그냥 보통 레더 플레이 하면서 그냥 게임을 워낙 많이 하면 이게 연습이 된다 그런 생각이세요?
일단 연습을 많이 하는데 제가 주로 쓰는 플레이가 이제 전면 추적자이기 때문에 더 자신감이 넘치는 것 같아요.
Well, generally I just practice a lot, of course, and I do tend to use blink stalkers a lot. So I think just the sheer number of times I use them, the number of games I'm employing them, the experience comes through, and that's how I can be so confident because it's just kind of second nature for me.
All right, so we got to talk about the other players in the tournament that have advanced through, and the players that he might be scared of or not at all.
Yeah.
So we all talked about the 4 Protoss players coming in, Classic, and unfortunately Rain, himself and Parting. Is it these players that are left over? Is it the Classic, maybe Parting later? Or is worries about TY and Lucera or Snoot maybe?
그럼 이번 IEM 때 정말 세계적으로 많은 분들이 정말 프로토스 한 4명 정말 눈여겨봐야겠다. 뭐 김준호 선수도 물론이지만 김도호 선수, 그다음에 원희삭 선수 이렇게 다 생각을 하고 있었는데 본인은 혹시 그 프로토스 뭐 푸푸전이 좀 걱정이 되세요? 아니면 오히려 반대로 스누트 선수가 정말 누구도 예상치 못한 결과를 보여주면서 올라가서 그런 쪽에서 혹시 걱정이 되세요? 아니면 뭐 황가우 선수 그렇고 누구도 걱정 안 된다. 이번 IEM은 내가 또 우승 차지한다. 그런 생각이세요?
일단 되게 최근에 저그전이 제일 자신이 없었어요. 근데 여기 IEM에 있는 저그들은 제가 다 자신감이 있는 저그들이기 때문에 걸림돌이 될 거라 생각 안 하고 그리고 테란전 토스전은 요새 연습 때 경기력이 최상으로 올라온 것 같아가지고 IEM 4회 우승 가능할 것 같아요.
그러면 한 가지 더 여쭤보고 싶은데 정윤준 선수하고 김도호 선수도 스누트 선수는 상대적으로 별로 걱정이 안 된다 그런 마인드였는데 오히려 당했거든요. 큰 거 다치고 혹시 걱정 안 되세요?
일단 앞에서 친한 선수들인데 먼저 솔 선수 보면서 지는 모습을 보여줘가지고 제가 이제 그 모습을 보면서 이제 깨달음을 얻었기 때문에.
알겠습니다. So yeah, going forward, I do think generally I actually struggle with PvZ recently, but the Zergs here at IEM. Those Zergs I'm pretty confident against. Lucera and Snoot, I'm not too worried. And then, my PvPs, my PvTs, I actually think I'm in my prime right now. I feel really good. I feel very confident. So I think I can vie for that 4-time championship. And I had to ask him, Rain and Classic, they thought the same thing against Snoot, but they lost.
That's true.
And he said, well, yeah, that's true. But I got to watch those. I learned my lesson from watching those games. So now I'm confident against Snoot too. Well, once again, thank you for the interview. Congratulations. 인터뷰 감사드리고 정말 8강 또 축하드립니다. 또 좋은 게임 기대해 보겠습니다. All right, thank you very much, herO. And from now we will be going to a break. If you missed any of our matches, of course, go ahead, catch up. We do have some neat first-person views and whatnot on Plays.tv and catch up on the highlights of our games today, yesterday, before that, and of course coming forward throughout the weekend. After the break, we'll return with the final match of Group C.